This man has been stranded on this cliff for 2 days with no food or water. Welcome back, Charlie here. Drones allow us to see things that we otherwise would have never laid eyes on. From scary people and animals caught by drones, to people whose lives were literally saved by drone cameras. First, we have to look at this stranded climber. The video you're watching right now shows an Indian man trapped on a cliffside for 2 days. He was totally stranded here and could not leave. To make matters worse, he had no food or water for this entire time. This man is named Babu. One day he went on a hike with a few friends. They decided to climb the very steep Sharad Hill, but that's when Babu slipped and fell into the cliff's cleft. His friends tried to rescue him using wooden sticks, logs and ropes, but eventually they went into a nearby village to ask for help. Indian rescue experts soon had to get involved, but it was very hard to rescue Babu. He was trapped on a very precarious ledge off the cliff. Nothing the rescuers tried worked. Even a helicopter failed to rescue Babu. They couldn't even drop him any food or water because it was too dangerous. He had to endure the very hot daytime and freezing cold nighttime. Eventually, the Chief Minister of India came to help. He enlisted the Indian army to help the man. Army officers crawled for hours using harnesses, eventually giving Babu water and then rescuing him for good. The Indian army's drone captured this amazing footage of him being rescued. It's lucky this man didn't climb alone. If he'd gone alone, his life might have ended on this cliff. Next, we have to look at this combat drone footage. This video is not from a normal drone. Instead, it's from a US Army Predator drone. This combat drone was conducting a routine patrol. That's when it detects something very large and very fast in its airspace. An unidentified flying object seems to fly past the drone. It creates a gigantic burst of white light, and even causes the drone's camera to glitch out momentarily, suggesting whatever this was may be emitting electromagnetic pulses. The combat drone turns around to scan the area, but whatever the bright white light was, it seems to have gone. Some believe this may be a UAP. In July of 2022, the USA created the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. This is a government department created to investigate UFOs. Perhaps this video is one of the reasons why the department was created. Moving on, we have to look at this terrifying drone footage of a shark. One day, a man in Florida named Dan Watson is filming his family at the beach using a drone. That's when he sees something in the water. There appears to be some kind of creature swimming around, incredibly close to a crowd of people. Dan soon realizes this animal is a shark. That's because its dorsal fin sticks up straight, unlike a dolphin's fin which curves back. Scarily, the crowd of people have no idea a shark is so near to them. Florida is the shark attack capital of the world, making this footage all the more scary. Thankfully, the shark doesn't bite anyone here, but things could have easily gone wrong, making this a very near miss. Next, we have to look at this police escape caught on drone. You are watching a 25-year-old man named Thomas Stones being raided by police. He was wanted for narcotics offenses, but to avoid being captured, he pulls a crazy move. As police are entering from the front of his house, he jumps out the back window. He's able to climb down onto his patio roof, and then jumps over his fence into his neighbor's garden. He then runs down an alleyway through many other people's gardens. But he has no idea that all of this is being caught on police drone. The drone follows him to an overgrown garden where he's hiding, and eventually police descend on him and make the arrest. Thomas was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, but did not get any additional prison time for his failed escape. Moving along, let's look at this blind man who was lost for 33 hours. In 2020, this 62-year-old blind man named Richard Doty had gone missing. He'd gone for a walk in a woodland in Connecticut, but had never made it home. To make things worse, the temperature was a freezing -12°C. Richard had not been seen in more than 24 hours, and some people assumed he may have passed away. Police tried to use tracking dogs to find Richard, but nothing was working. That was when a cop named Todd Thiel got out his drone. Todd got his drone and began looking for Richard, hoping to find Richard before hypothermia got to him. Eventually, Todd turned on the heat-seeking camera of his drone, and that's when finally, in the middle of a snowy woods, a heat source was found by the drone. Police soon went to the coordinates, and thankfully Richard was found. He had been in the freezing cold for more than 33 hours by this time, but he was quickly taken to hospital and thankfully survived. Next, we have to look at this missing motorist. One morning at 2 AM, a car accident took place on a highway. Police found a car flipped onto its side, but to their confusion, they found no driver. Desperate to locate the likely injured driver, they pulled out some drones. The drone had thermal imaging, and after a few moments, the drone found the driver unconscious in a ditch nearby. The man was only found thanks to the drone, Police had no other way to find the man in the pitch darkness. The drone's pilot directed a cop who was on foot to rescue the man. An ambulance was called and the man was hypothermic and unresponsive, but thankfully was soon saved. The man is now okay and has made a full recovery, but if it wasn't for this drone, the man likely would have passed away. There's just no way anyone would have got to him in time. Next, let's look at this missing woman. In North Carolina, an elderly woman had gone missing. She has memory problems and got lost when she left her home. After using a drone to fly around for a few hours, they see something purple in a cornfield. To the cops' relief, they soon realize it's the woman's jacket. She is standing motionless in the cornfield, probably very scared and confused. The drone frightens her, but thankfully 2 cops on foot soon approach. They then save this woman and take her back home. It's a good thing she was found by this drone, otherwise she may not have been found until it was too late. Moving along, I have to show you morning in North Korea. Here is aerial footage of an average morning in Pyongyang, North Korea. Everything looks incredibly eerie, and I haven't added this music in. They actually play this music loudly from speakers to wake everyone up. The scary part is, this is actually real and happening right now. It's also very creepy to see this traffic lady guiding no cars. Moving on, we have to look at this shark near miss. One day, an Australian man named Simon Lawrence was flying his drone above his boat. Him and his friends had been catching crabs, but to their horror, they realized the drone has picked up something far more scary than any crab. A gigantic great white shark quietly approaches their boat. Simon thinks fast and quickly cuts their crab pot loose, hoping to distract the great white shark. Thankfully this works, but it was a very near miss. Great white sharks have been known to tip over boats by ramming into them at full speed, but thankfully Simon and his friends escaped. Simon's crabs, on the other hand, not so much. Now I have to show you this ghostly woman. One day a man is flying his drone across some woods. That's when he sees something bright and white amongst the trees. So he moves the drone closer down to get a better look. He soon realizes the white thing is actually a person. There appears to be a woman in the woods wearing a white dress. She doesn't seem to be lost or scared. Instead, she just eerily watches the drone. Some online have called this a white witch, while others say this may be a ghost of some kind. It's definitely a mystery why a woman in a white dress would be far out in the middle of the woods. There's nothing around for miles, so it seems like she has no reason to be out here. Finally, we have to look at this angry farmer. In 2015, someone was flying their drone over some farmland, but that's when a farmer on the land notices the drone, and soon takes it down. The man who filmed this said the drone is now in police evidence, and he was actually going to court with this farmer over the matter. Some said this farmer was right to take the drone down. After all, it was going over his property, but other people said this guy went way too far. I think the lesson here is, don't mess with farmers. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below which was the most scary video caught by drone. If you want to see my short videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. I've been Charlie. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.